The Crimson Talon bar sat on the edge of Terminus Station, where the galaxy's forgotten came to forget a little more. Akim balanced 3 plasma-heated drinks on her tray, weaving between tables of species that had traveled light years just to sit in the dim, smoke-filled atmosphere. She'd worked here for 2 years, ever since her mother's medical bills had piled higher than their apartment could hold. The door hissed open, and silence rippled through the bar like a stone dropped in still. A water. 4 Dracarians entered, massive, reptilian beings whose scales shimmered with an iridescence that spoke of worlds conquered and wars survived. Their wings, folded tight against their backs, still scraped the doorframe. Each wore the faded crimson sash of the 47th Legion, a unit that had ceased to exist 30 years ago during the Epsilon betrayal. Akim's breath caught. Dracarians rarely left their home clusters, and veterans of the 47th were supposed to be extinct. The Epsilon sector had been glassed, every world burned to bedrock, every soldier lost. "Table for 4, the lead Dracarian rumbled, his voice like grinding stone. His golden eyes swept the room, daring anyone to object. Akim straightened her spine. "Right this way." She led them to the back corner where the shadows were thick enough to hide in. As she set down menus specially formatted for clawed hands, she noticed the tattoos. Each Dracarian bore the same mark on their right shoulder, a human handprint surrounded by flames with coordinates burned into the palm. The lead Dracarian, whose nameplate read Kesix, caught her staring. "Something wrong, human?" "No, sir. Akim hesitated, then the words tumbled out. "My mom has a tattoo exactly like yours." 4 pairs of golden eyes locked onto her. The air grew heavy, charged with something Akim couldn't name. Kesix's claws scraped against the table's metal surface. "What is your mother's name?" His voice had changed, softened into something almost gentle. "Sarah Chen. She was a medical officer. She doesn't talk about the war much, but—" "Grid coordinates 478812, another Dracarian interrupted, a smaller female named Vriss. Her voice cracked. "Epsilon 4, the evacuation." Akim's heart hammered. Those were the exact coordinates tattooed on her mother's shoulder, the ones she'd refused to explain for 20 years. Kesix stood slowly, his full height making the ceiling seem low. "Take us to her. She's at home. She's sick." "The doctors say—" Akim's voice broke. The radiation exposure from the war finally caught up to her. "She has maybe 6 months." The Dracarians exchanged glances, something passing between them in their clicking language. Then Kesix reached into his sash and pulled out a small crystal that pulsed with inner light. "This is a Dracarian lifestone. It's worth more than this entire station." He pressed it into Akim's palm, closing her fingers around it. "For her treatment. But first we must see her." An hour later, Akim's small apartment had never felt smaller. 4 Dracarians filled the living space like dragons in a dollhouse. Her mother, Sarah, sat in her medical chair, oxygen tubes trailing from her nose. She'd been sleeping when they arrived, but the moment she heard the clicking Dracarian speech, her eyes snapped open. "Kesix?" Sarah's voice was barely a whisper. "Vriss, you're alive?" Kesix knelt, bringing his massive head level with Sarah's. "Because of you. All of us. 642 Dracarian civilians and warriors. We live because one human refused to leave." Sarah's hand trembled as she reached out, touching the scales on Kesix's snout. "You were just eggs. They ordered me to evacuate, but I couldn't leave you to burn." Vriss moved closer, her voice thick with emotion. The other humans left. The fleet retreated. The Epsilon sun was destabilizing, 3 hours until it went supernova. "But you stayed. You carried us," the 3rd Dracarian thorax added. 142 eggs. "You made 17 trips through the radiation storm to the last shuttle. You burned for us," the 4th Jessic continued. "Your skin blistered. Your hair caught fire, but you didn't stop." Sarah closed her eyes, tears streaming down her weathered face. "I was just doing my job." "No." Kesix's voice was firm. "You were doing something humans do that no other species understands. You chose compassion over survival, honor over orders, life over your own safety." He gestured to his shoulder tattoo. "Every Dracarian you saved bears this mark. Your handprint from when you carried us. The coordinates of where humanity proved itself worthy of the stars. We searched for you for 30 years. We thought you died in the supernova." "Nearly did." Sarah laughed weakly. "Spent 2 years in a medical coma. They gave me a new identity. said I'd violated military protocol, abandoned my post. They dishonorably discharged me. The Dracarian's growls filled the room like thunder. Unacceptable, Kessex declared. He pulled out a communicator. I am calling the Dracarian Council. You will have the finest medical care in the galaxy, and those who dishonored you will answer to the 47th Legion, all 642 of us. Akeem watched as her mother, the woman who'd worked 3 jobs and never complained, who'd hidden her past and worn long sleeves even in summer, finally allowed herself to be honored. Mom, Akeem whispered. You saved them? Sarah met her daughter's eyes. Humanity doesn't leave children behind. Any children. That's what makes us human. Kessex stood, addressing Akeem directly. Your mother gave us life. The Dracarian Empire owes the Chen family a debt that spans generations. Your mother will be healed. You will want for nothing. And the galaxy will know what one human did when everyone else ran. As the Dracarians made their calls and Sarah's apartment transformed into a command center, Akeem finally understood. Her mother's tattoo wasn't a mark of shame. It was a badge of honor, earned in fire, witnessed by those who remembered. Humanity indeed.